Welcome to Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians, an interactive panel discussion. Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed private sector employment law attorney of your choice. All right, welcome back. This is Navigating Texas Workforce Commission for Musicians for September 25th, 2020. Let's see, we always start with the standard websites. We do this every time, just in case someone is starting from the beginning. And I think we might talk a little even more about doing that this week, but we always go through these websites. The best website is the twc.texas.gov. Not that it's the best website, but it's the most up-to-date, the most informative, and the most accurate because it's run by the TWC itself. Let's see. Oh, I think got to let somebody back in here. Come in, Russell. Did I miss him? Are you there, Russell? Let's see. I think we caught him. All right, let's keep going. The Facebook page of the Texas Workforce Commission is all one word, Texas Workforce Commission, after facebook.com. We also have the Local 433 Musicians Unemployment Information Sharing page on Facebook. And then, of course, our Union Locals COVID-19 resources page for musicians, which is intended to be a short list. It's afm433.com/COVID-19. And then, of course, the Who Represents Me, wrm.capitol.texas.gov. That's how you can find out who your state senator is in particular, but also state house representatives and the federal senators and national representatives, as well as your state school board and everything else. And we also have the links down there of the different activities, the different petitions, letter writing campaigns, and things like that. So, yeah, I think, did we lose Russell? That's all right. Joining me is Mark. Hello, Mark. And
hi there.
I think Russell will be back in just a second. And yeah, man. Well, we always do the beverages. I'm doing coffee once again. You have a beverage there?
Good old green tea for me.
Excellent. Nice fall beverage there. Really starting to feel like fall a little bit here in Austin, Texas, which sometimes takes a long time, but this year maybe a little earlier. I don't know.
Well, this is a far better September than last September. That's for sure.
Yes.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Hello, Russell.
I'm back.
You're back.
Except I don't see myself, so I don't know if my camera is on.
We can see you.
You can see me?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't see anybody.
Oh, man. Gotta love the technology this year.
All right.
It's the only way we're able to do anything. And it's supposed to make our lives easier, but it doesn't always do that. Well, you haven't missed anything at all, brother. We just went through the beverages. Mark was doing green tea. I was doing coffee.
and I'm doing water, but
You're doing water.
nobody will see it.
Well, like I said, we can see you.
You can see me.
I can see your shirt. Yeah, change starts with you and I, which is a wonderful
Yeah,
slogan. Yeah,
I'm not exactly sure why I can't get my
man.
camera.
Huh. I don't know. Well,
Figure this out.
don't change the thing because we can see you and we can hear you.
Okay,
So, yeah, as long as you can hear us.
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Cool, man. Well, all right. So let's see. We wanted to kind of run down the news of the week here, and there's not a whole lot. Probably have a kind of a short session today. Um, you know, locally, there's a little bit of stuff going on with the. There was a demonstration about supporting the live music venues here in Austin. Downtown, where some musicians brought their instruments but didn't play. I thought that was kind of interesting, and that was kind of related to the Save Our Stages Act, and that's an interesting thing because that's actually sponsored by one of our Republican senators, John Cornyn,
Yeah.
who is up for re-election, of course,
Oh,
and we're thankful for him doing that, of course. But he's been opposed to almost everything else as far as workers and unions and everything else. Um, yeah, but that's something I guess we can support is the Save Our Stages Act. And that's also Amy Klobuchar, the presidential candidate, is the Democratic sponsor of that bill. So that's interesting. Yeah. Let's see. As far as the unemployment benefits, there really has not been any news. Unfortunately, uh, still no agreement in the Senate. Have you heard anything about that, Mark? We didn't hear from you last week, but we talked a
Uh,
little bit.
no, I mean, I think everything is just stalled.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard anything from any of the news sources that I usually pick up on that something's in the mix. I think it's really just dead in the water at this point.
It seems to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Russell, are you back?
I
Oh,
didn't do anything. I just kind of
yeah. There you go. Reset. Yeah.
reappeared.
Well, I was just telling Mark that last week we were talking about the unemployment bills in the national Senate, the U.S. Senate, and how
Yes.
they don't seem to be going anywhere. We did talk about there's that group called the Problem Solvers. I think it's called the Problem Solvers that are trying to get some sort of compromise. They're like a group of 25 Democrats, 25
That was the
Republicans.
last count.
Yeah.
But the actual truth is that the whole process is moving backwards.
Mm,
They're pushing it off the calendar because they really want this Supreme Court nominee to dominate the news to keep us off that focus.
yeah. And of course, that is the big news for this week. That's the big
It's
distraction from unemployment, but it's of course a tragic thing. I'm wearing black in memory of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I tried to find a neck doily, but they didn't have it in my size. But no, it's yeah, we're very grateful to her. She was definitely a hero for labor and equality and everything else, all the good things. Um, yeah, but now that is distracting from the needs of the people here in a lot of
yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Russell. I think the unemployment issues will continue to get pushed back. It seems like, and I just don't know how long the populace can take
Can
that.
withstand this. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of folks that have been trying to get assistance since the beginning of the pandemic. That still haven't gotten in there. They do that press conference actually, I'm not sure if they do it. They used to do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but now they might do it like every 2 days or something on the TWC's Facebook page, the Texas Workforce Commission Facebook page. They do a press conference, and I can tell you the comment stream is just flying
I
by.
I did go there, and for lack of a better term, that is a hostile page.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to get much help if we continue like that.
You mean hostile, like the TWC is hostile, or the people are hostile towards
No,
the
the
TWC?
people are hostile toward the TWC.
Yeah,
And it seems like they're just now getting the system to kind of work in our favor. And I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it's a symptom of the anxiety that people are feeling when they can't get
Yeah.
help, and they're just ramming their heads against the wall with that system. Not not able to get through, not able to use the website.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't get much when they do. I mean,
Yeah.
now it's down to the rock bottom minimum now with no federal support. So,
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it helps people, but it's not helping like it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, for folks that we're still talking to folks, even this week, that haven't, that are musicians that haven't applied yet. Just because maybe they didn't need the help, and God bless them if
Right.
they didn't need the help until now, but now they need it, and so they're just sort of dipping into that system and trying to figure it out. Yeah, it's still very possible to get in there, and it doesn't matter if you make all your money from 1099s or all your money from W2s, but if it's mixed, it's a little tougher. But you can
Right.
still get in there. It's still
Still get
possible.
in there.
Yeah. In particular, if you make all your money from 1099s and you can prove and you can document that you haven't worked, until back into the summer or back into maybe even the spring, if you can document that you haven't worked until then, I have heard of people getting back payments when they apply to where whenever they stopped working. That's happened a few times that I know of. But you do have to get in touch with somebody to make that happen, and sometimes you have to get in touch with somebody just to get registered. But you have to start on the website now. Everyone has to start there. There's no paper
Yeah.
application anymore. It's only the website or the phone. I guess some people can still do it over the phone, but that system is kind of tough too, right? Did you use that a little bit, Mark? That phone system that's kind of different prompts, or no? Okay.
Well, I used I mean, I called people on the phone
That's
when I
right.
was getting on back in April. I made, I don't know, 25 hours worth of phone calls probably,
Yeah.
trying to get on, and but I did everything on the computer on the website, on the TWC website.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the recommended method now. Yeah. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was the only way you could get a hold of anyone else is on the
Yeah.
phone, and that's
Yeah.
still really the only way to do it. Except we haven't really been able to. I haven't heard of anybody getting through. It's emailing somebody to get the TWC to then call you. I think now, right?
Yeah.
I haven't really heard of anybody actually getting through on the phone to somebody that can help them. I have heard of some folks getting through on the phone to someone who couldn't help them. That I have heard that. Yeah, man.
So I did mention to you, and before we started, that I had heard from a couple of people this week whose benefits have run out.
Oh yeah.
They got in touch with me to say, well, what do I do now? And I was like, I wasn't sure. So I thought maybe you could shed a little bit of light on that.
May be able to do that. There's an FAQ on the TWC website. Right, FAQ is frequently asked questions. And it's right at the top, but the front page of the twc.texas.gov website. But there's a ton of stuff there, and it can be hard to find. But it's in the red part at the top, there's a section for employee questions, and there's a whole bunch of them. And I believe that's one of the questions. There we go. Can individuals, it says right here, it's about halfway, well, not halfway, it's a giant page. Maybe it's 65% down the page or something.
Right.
Can individuals who are about to exhaust their unemployment benefits or who have recently exhausted their benefits get an extension, and or would they qualify for DUA, which stands for Disaster Unemployment Assistance? And then the TWC has 4 paragraphs in answer to that. They say the TWC is working with the Department of Labor to implement the new Stimulus Act while continuing to work tirelessly to process unemployment insurance claims caused by the coronavirus pandemic. If a claimant recently exhausted benefits, no action is needed from them. We will determine if they qualify for additional benefits under the Stimulus Act and notify them by mail or electronic correspondence of their eligibility. If an individual applied for unemployment benefits but lacked the necessary wages to apply, no action is needed from them. We will determine if they qualify under the new Stimulus Act and notify them by mail or electronic correspondence of their eligibility. And they continue to say claimants who are in a hardship situation should contact 211. I believe that's the phone number, for additional resources such as help with utilities, rent, food, transportation, child care, child support, finding work, education, or training, and other benefits. So that's a mouthful right there.
There also is a site like that on the city's webpage.
Yeah.
I heard the mayor talking about that, where you can get additional benefits for help with food and lodging.
Yeah, and utility bills and stuff like
Yep.
that. Yeah, there was and for musicians, of course, too. There was the Sun Radio thing to help with utility bills. That was really important in the summer when our utility bills are really high. Of course, hopefully we'll get a break on that now that the fall is coming. We'll see. But yeah, but it sounds like, Mark, to your friend's question. Unfortunately, what they're saying is you don't need to do anything and just wait, which is really hard to do when you're facing,
Right.
Having to pay rent or not being able to pay rent or mortgage. So that's the official word, but yeah.
In the old days, or I guess still, I mean, is there a certain prescribed amount of time that once your benefits run out, before you can reapply for benefits?
Oh, I don't know. I think it has to be. I think you have a certain number of weeks within a year period that you can be on the benefits.
Right.
And then once you exhaust those weeks, then you have to wait until the next year period starts. But various programs are extending the number of weeks by different amounts.
Right.
So
But I mean, if your benefits run out, they run out, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, if you've used up what your maximum is, the $8,000 or whatever it is, then
Right. But like I said, the different programs, like if they can qualify for the disaster unemployment after they've exhausted traditional unemployment,
right.
then they can do that, can switch on to another program. And what TWC is saying is, don't call us, we'll get you on there. But I would think if it's been 2 or 3 weeks since you qualified, or since your benefits stopped, and you haven't been notified of anything like that, I would try to get on the phone with them, or email your state senator and try to get them to get you a call with someone who can help you at the TWC.
Yeah.
Try to be a little proactive about it, but I'd give it at least 2 or 3 weeks, because the system is still just packed and backed up. So, yeah, it's scary. But that's why we tell people to keep doing the
Stay
payment
in there,
requests.
yeah.
Yeah, stay in that system, because even if you don't, if you get disqualified for benefits 1 week because of some money you made, then that week just adds on to the number of weeks you can stay in the system.
Right.
So don't let that stop you. Keep doing it. Keep doing the payment request and the income report that's associated with that, because yeah, it's going to be a long haul. It doesn't really matter when that vaccine comes out for us. It's still going to be months after that before our business really starts to pick up, right?
That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. It's
Yeah. Even though I think all of us are finding ways to work during this, but it's nothing like what we were doing before March, of course. So, yeah. Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Did your friend have any other comments about that, Mark? Or about what was going
No,
on?
no, they were curious what the next step was, and a couple of people asked me about that actually last week. And
Yeah.
I hadn't. I mean, that was the first I had heard of somebody who applied for benefits during the COVID pandemic whose benefits had run out. I
Yeah.
hadn't heard. That was the first I'd heard about that, and so.
Mhm.
I imagine we're going to be hearing about that a lot more in the next several weeks because, you know, people are getting different amounts, and the people who are getting larger amounts are going to run out quicker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. That's part of the Heroes Act, right? That's the act that the U.S. House of Representatives passed almost 5 months ago now. That's been on the Senate's desk, undiscussed. But part of that is an extension of the number of weeks, as well
Right.
as the increased benefits, which is obviously needed, and it's going to be needed. I mean, in the northern states, it's going to be an issue of just making it through the winter. I mean, just surviving
Yeah.
the cold.
Yeah, paying your heating bills and stuff.
That's when
Yeah.
their utility bills get high is in the winter. Up north. So, yeah, it's this is not something that they should play around with. I don't think, and they are. It seems like. So yeah, but yeah, that's part of the Heroes Act, and it needs to be part of any other stimulus act. It was not part of the lost. What was it? The Lost Wages Act. Um, is that was called the LWA? That was
I
the
think that's what it was.
yeah, the
I think
presidential order.
yeah, they purposely left those two separate.
Yeah, yeah, that only just increased the benefit for a limited time, which in Texas it only wound up being 5 weeks, and then it was done. Which I mean, that was helpful, but we can't totally drain the FEMA budget because then what are we going to do when the next hurricane comes? And we got parts of the country still underwater from Hurricane Beta this past week, right? Earlier this week, yeah. So. Wow. Yeah. Well, that leads to another big piece of news this week in Texas. I don't know if you guys saw that. I think I saw an article posted today, and I'll post it in the show notes. That there is finally a way to register to vote in Texas online, kind of.
It's it.
Kind of. And it's only if you do it while you're updating your driver's license info. You can do it while you're doing that, but for no other reason. You cannot use the online system. Everyone else still has to. Their online voter registration still has to be a downloaded paper form that they have to print and then physically mail to the thing. Which, if you don't have a printer, you can't do. You can't do it. So,
And the other issue about that is, can you check to make sure that you're still registered? Because there's been not so much, I guess, in Texas, but in other states, there have been a lot of people who just mysteriously disappeared from the voter rolls, even though they, in some cases, had been registered for years. So I've heard various stories about people being able to check in Texas whether they're registered or not, but I haven't followed through on that yet, and I was going to do that this afternoon. But
I haven't done that myself either. Yeah. I mean, I know I was able to vote in the summer, in the summer election. But
right.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, it's a good thing to be able to do with some of the things we're hearing. The article that I saw about the driver's license update thing today, that was actually the person who was in that story, who's been sort of championing that change to the law. Is a person in Texas who that happened to in 2014. Who they updated their driver's license info and they checked the box that said, "Would you like to register to vote?" Yes. And then they showed up at the polls and found out he wasn't registered to vote. I was like, "Well,
Wow.
What do you mean? I checked the box, and so that person had a lot to do with changing that law. So we know that does happen here, or at least it was happening here. It probably will still happen because there are people that checked that box last week. And
going back to your point, when you go to the polls and get your ballot, everything, you basically are re-registering.
Oh, we lost Russell.
Hmm.
Yeah, we got some bandwidth issues I think today, but but that's an excellent point though. Yeah, that
And just a reminder too, you can also sign up to be a election worker, a poll worker.
mhm.
Either on election day, you can do it, for the actual election day. Although my understanding of that is that you have to commit to a pretty lengthy block, like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or something like that. But you can also sign up to be a early voting um, poll worker too,
Oh yeah,
and it pays money. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's something. And
at a time when there's not a lot of work for our people, that could be
yeah,
something
I
to
mean,
do.
I would really recommend that people do that. I think you can do that on the Travis County website, and the more people that we get in there to be kind of keeping an eye on things, probably the better.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, man.
And that's kind of where I was going with that because my polling place is within walking distance from my house. And they're like, well, why don't you just come over and work here? Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
that's
Oh,
done
good.
awesome.
it for a couple of years.
Right
Yeah.
on, man. Right
Just
on.
walk over there and do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
For me, it's just right around the corner. So that,
So what did they,
Right.
Russell, did they ask you to go sign up officially on the Travis County website, or did you just?
They did it right there.
Oh, they did it for you. Oh, yeah, cool.
They did it right there.
Cool. Yeah.
Wow.
But when they verify your identity to vote, they ask you, do you still live at this address and so forth and so on. And they pull it right up and say, okay, you live close. Would you? I'm like, sure.
Yeah, right on.
Wow.
So are you doing that during the early voting or just on election day?
The early voting. I won't
early
go to
voting,
the
yeah.
election day, which is the early voting.
Right.
Mhm. Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah.
So even your early voting location is close to your house, not just
Yeah, just right
your,
around the corner.
your election day one. Oh, that's great. Fantastic.
The early day voting, from my understanding, is that there is no restriction. You can go wherever you want.
Mhm.
It's just that when voting day comes, you got to go to your precinct,
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
which means you'll be standing out there all day.
Maybe I voted
Yeah.
on election day this past summer, for the runoff election, and where I was in South Austin, it was in the stadium down there, the Austin ISD Stadium,
Yeah.
Right.
the Tony Berger Center, which is
Mhm.
big, and we went in, and there was no line or anything. We just got right in, boop, and right in and out. So I don't know. We just don't know what the lines. I mean, the presidential elections, of course, are always bigger.
Yeah.
Lots more people vote, and we need lots more people to vote. So it's going to be really
Well,
important.
and vote early.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've been hearing is Bernie Sanders said that last night in his speech. He said, get to the polls as early as you can get to the polls. And if you're doing a mail-in ballot, mail it in as early as you can mail it
As
in.
early, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and that brings up another point. We need to continually let people know, or continue to let people know that we probably won't know the result on the night of, because of early voting and mail-in
Yeah.
voting. There's going to be more than ever before, and those votes, absentee voting too. Those votes were never counted on election day. Those were always counted
Right.
after election day.
That and also the military vote, because I know that I'm ex-military.
That's right.
I voted in Germany.
Yeah, and those are never counted on election day. They're always counted afterwards, and those are all going to have to be counted because so many more people are going to use that method now. So we can't panic if we don't know the result on election night. We got to wait. We might not know it for a week afterwards.
We can still panic.
Yeah, it's true. Oh man, yeah, excellent. Yeah, excellent points.
Get panicked. You don't need the anarchy point, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Panic.
Panic at home.
I'm panicking now. I
Yeah.
need the anarchy.
Oh man, we don't want to become an anarchist district
Right.
like New York City apparently. Oh my goodness. But yeah, oh man, yeah, just what a week in the news. So yeah, we had the Ruth Bader Ginsburg thing, and then the Breonna Taylor trial thing that has exploded again with civil unrest in different places. And oh man, I talked to a friend of mine in Louisville, and he's talking about there's helicopters over, and there's no violence around where he is. There's peaceful protesting and there's no violence, but there's still helicopters and things and
Hmm.
military presence and all this stuff, and it's getting creepy out there. It really is. Yeah.
There's something about this, and you guys will remember this. That time in Dallas when they actually used a robot to assassinate a person that shot at police, it's been downhill ever since.
Oh.
I mean, that's the full-on admission that we are a militaristic state.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Where that military hardware is just part of
Yep.
everyday use. Yeah.
Well, and drones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be. Can't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yikes. Well, yeah. So everybody vote. We've been including that website that we got from you, Mark. Vote Forward,
Yeah.
which is votefwd.org, where the
Hmm.
people write the letters. I think some more people are doing that. So thank you for that. And yeah, anything you can do to help people vote, help the people you know
Yeah.
vote. Let them know how they can vote, how they can register, everything else. Oh man, it's so important. But let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to unemployment assistance. I wanted to just talk real quick, just about if somebody is starting from zero, if somebody hasn't needed any help until now. Now they realize they need some help, and okay, how do I apply? And they're a musician, right? So there's probably three different situations, right? We could have the one who gets all their income from 1099 income, where people pay them to play in their band, in somebody's band. And then you got somebody who maybe is all W-2s, right, where they work for the symphony or a school district or something like that. They get W-2s from various organizations, or maybe one organization. And then there's the person that has both, right, that has a mix, you know and self-employment income might play a part in there too, right? You might run your own band and you're the band leader. That could be a part of it too. Um, so in the case of the W-2 worker, you're going to have those W-2s on file when you apply for the TWC. They're going to be able to find them really fast just with your social number, so you don't have to do that much. And they'll calculate your benefit based on how much you made last year and everything. If you get all your info from 1099s, that's where you wouldn't qualify before. So, hey Russell, you're back.
Boy, I'm having some serious connection problems.
Oh hey man.
I guess they don't want me to really say say anything controversial today.
Man,
Just keep him quiet,
well hey man, like we always say, don't give up, don't give up.
right?
Oh man, we were just going through if somebody's starting unemployment assistance today. So we're talking about if the person gets all 1099s, you wouldn't have qualified for unemployment before. And a lot of people still think they don't, but you can qualify for what they call PUA or DUA, the pandemic unemployment assistance or
Right.
disaster unemployment assistance, which describe our year pretty well. But when you apply for those, you need to apply using the online application for TWC and apply as yourself, working for yourself. You are the employer, either as self-employed income, or you're the employer, you're receiving that 1099 income and paying yourself, right? So the employer you put in as yourself, and that's something that I think we can recommend you doing also if you get a combination of 1099s and W-2s, because the application still only allows you to put in one employer, which
Right.
is kind of
Right.
nuts because lots of people have, it's not just us, lots of people have multiple employers, right? I mean, there's lots of contractors out there in all different kinds of businesses, but there's still only room for one employer. So if you get a mix, put yourself in there as the employer, and TWC they'll find all your W-2s just like a W-2 worker, because they're attached to your social number, right? So you want to put yourself in as the employer, let TWC find the rest. But if you do have that combination, we recommend that you get in touch with your state senator and ask them to get a phone call from the TWC made to you to get that worked out, because there's still doesn't seem to be a way to get that worked out on the website. If you only have 1099s, they just put you right on the pandemic assistance usually. Now, of course, they didn't do that back when you applied. It wasn't so easy, but now they've kind of streamlined that. If you only get 1099s and self-employment income, you can do that. But if you get 1099s and W-2s, it still seems to be there's some kind of internal thing that they need to do, and you have to get on the phone with somebody. And we found the best way is the state senator's offices getting that phone call to you from inside the TWC. Does that make sense? Did I hit all the points? Does that summarize our year on this program a little bit?
People will let you know if you let something out.
I know, right? Yeah, and we want you to do that. If you're watching this program, let us know if we're missing something. Let us know if you had a different experience, because that's one of the things we also found is that everybody's having different experiences, even when they're in the same bucket, when they're in the same, 1099 or W-2 or both or neither. Everybody's having slightly different experiences with how to get on to get this assistance, and we got to use it to survive this mess and live to play music another day. So, yeah, all right.
Well, if there is a silver lining behind all this, is that from here on out, there is a recognized way for musicians to access the situation or this system forever now. I mean, they know who we are now.
We hope so. Yeah. Hopefully that
Hopefully we won't have to do.
Oh, we lost Russell again. Oh man. But he'll be back in a minute. but I think that's a good point. Yeah, that there at least there's a way into the system for contractors in general now. I don't know. I don't think we do know that it'll necessarily stay there forever. It might be only for the pandemic. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on, I believe. But musicians always need help. Yeah. Russell, you're back.
Back again.
I was just saying that was a good point you made about at least there's a way for contractors and musicians to be in the system now.
Right.
But I don't know that
to at least access the system.
Yeah.
There's a way now.
I'm not sure if we know that that's going to stay though, because it's called disaster unemployment assistance or pandemic unemployment assistance. So it may go away after the pandemic is gone. When it's gone, let us be gone sometime. But
yeah,
that's something we'll have to keep an eye on for sure, because musicians often need help. And
right.
Maybe we can use this as a way to make the business better. If all of us start doing our business better once the business comes back, maybe we can really uplift the profession a little bit more. But we'll have to see.
This is where your union matters.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So, on that note, we had a nice. There was a concert on Wednesday, an online streaming concert that the AFL-CIO did as a fundraiser for their scholarship and education program, and it was all done on a union contract. We had probably the headliner was our brother Robert Earl Keane was on there, and big union supporter and a longtime member, and so it was great to see him. And the whole thing was done on a union contract. Everybody got pension and health and welfare and all that stuff. Almost like an exemplary contract. It was great. So yeah, so it can be done even in Texas. We can do it. So.
We can, and we should.
Yep, absolutely, man. So, do you guys have anything else before we take off for this week? Yeah,
I don't think so.
That's all I had on the agenda.
That's it for me.
Okay, beautiful. Well, if you're watching this, don't give up. We're going to get through this together by sharing information, and solidarity among musicians will really help us survive this thing and restart everything once it's cleared up. So thanks so much, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Mark and Russell.
Yep, thank you. Yeah.
All